So my name is Kwaw Frimpong, and I'm a cybersecurity analyst at Ithaca Energy. But then originally I am from Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
and I moved to the UK, I think 2021 for my master's degree in cybersecurity at Aberdeen University in Scotland.
Thank you so much. And could you please walk us through your academic background? Where did you do your undergraduate degree?
My background is very strange because I'll start from senior high school so that people can really
Yeah.
understand where I'm coming from. Because it seems a lot of people want to switch from what they are doing to cybersecurity, and there are lots of discussion on this on the internet. So originally, I went to senior high school to do business.
Yeah.
However, I wasn't interested in the business aspect of things because I thought I would end up working in a bank. Just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I switched my course in senior high school during my second year to do visual arts
Yeah.
because the visual art program sort of gives you the, leeway to sort of do painting and be creative and all that.
Yeah.
When I did the visual arts in the university, that's why I went to do publishing studies. So publishing studies is more or less like graphic design, but specializing in book design and stuff like that. So that's where I sort of went into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And why did you decide to do your master's in cybersecurity and why in Aberdeen?
So with masters in cybersecurity. So when I was in senior high school, there was this guy in my class called Daman Barnani. He's an Indian guy, and he used to travel to Dubai a lot and also in India. So at that time, we were all in the visual arts class, but then he sort of introduced me to cybersecurity. Let me say IT. Because he
Mm-hmm.
likes to talk about hacking. So just talking about the latest hacks of the time and all that. So then I wanted to understand, what do you mean by hacking? What's hack? What's hacking? So that's where I got into cybersecurity.
Yeah.
But it is just for me. I'll go online, watch YouTube videos and all that. So that's where the passion started. So I'm during vacations, I'll just go online, watch ethical hacking videos and all that. So my cybersecurity background started way back.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I was in university, I didn't concentrate much on the publishing course that I was doing. It was all about IT
Yeah.
and playing video games. Yeah. So, but then when I sort of got a job in Ghana, I noticed that there's a gap because I didn't really have the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So, spend lots of time reading cybersecurity books, IT books, networking, and all that to have the understanding. But then the other challenge also was that when you are applying for jobs,
Mm-hmm.
there's this question that you did publishing. So why cybersecurity? So it means that there's a gap on your CV, and people expect you to have an IT related course to be able to jump into cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just needed to bridge that gap so that right now, if someone asks me, so what did you do? I'll just push the publishing side aside and say, oh, I did MSc cybersecurity just to cover up for,
Mm-hmm.
my non-IT background.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and why particularly University of Aberdeen?
Okay, so I came through the government of Ghana's, scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
and they sort of partnered with some schools in the UK, which Aberdeen was one of them. There are a lot of schools that, so some of my
Yeah.
colleagues, my friends went to other parts, but then I noticed Aberdeen is just this. Okay, so the town itself is very calm. Let me put it that way,
Yeah.
compared to, yeah. So, and I don't like noise, lots of noise, or where there's
Mm-hmm.
overcrowding. So I decided to come to Aberdeen specific. And
Mm-hmm.
also, Aberdeen Uni is one of the best, if not being biased, in, let me say, Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I chose Aberdeen and also the university.
And what are some of your favorite memories from your student years in Aberdeen? Maybe from like social life.
Uh, I don't really have a good social life, but then, so I met two other friends of mine. And we are still in touch though. And I'll say it's, so there were times we were given coursework, and
Mm-hmm.
this particular coursework, I don't know if, please lecturers, if you are watching this, forgive me. So sometimes, so we just meet in a room, one of my colleagues' room, then we can be there for, let's say, 3 a.m. or 5 a.m. So we start working around 10 p.m. Then, so let's say 2 a.m. before we submit our coursework. So that experience, let me say, was a fun time for me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And what is your current role and responsibilities at your company, and what your typical day looks like?
Okay, so my current role, I'm a cybersecurity analyst
Mm-hmm.
at Ithaca Energy, who is an oil and gas company.
Yeah.
And my typical day-to-day activity would be just on a higher level to make sure that the company doesn't get any cyber attack. So I look at the endpoint security and also email security and everything that has to do with security. I mean, digital security. So we have physical security and digital security. So that would be my day-to-day activity.
Yeah. And you also work for government of Ghana. Could you please tell
Yes.
us more about your time there?
Okay, so with my role at Government of Ghana, I was more within the security and intelligence sector,
Mm-hmm.
where yes, so I was doing cybersecurity and digital forensics, so where I did lots of penetration testing and
Yeah.
also digital forensics, and also sometimes interrogation, if we should put it that way. So I would say that, I mean, that background, so that gave me the platform to actually delve deep into cybersecurity because of the exposure I had and all that. Yes.
Mm, thank you.
Yeah.
And are there any specific like conferences or online communities or influencers you follow to remain up to date in the cybersecurity field?
Okay, I wouldn't say there are specific people I follow
Mhm.
because the threat landscape has changed, I mean, within the past 5 years. So, but then there are lots of groups that I follow. And one of the core group, or let me say conference, would be um, Black Hat Conference. So the Black Hat Conference is more or less like guys who are very, very knowledgeable in cybersecurity, and they do things that, I mean, on the normal circumstances, people might think it's not possible. Like hacking into Tesla, for instance. Someone can actually hack into Tesla and they will do
Wow.
proof of concept and they will do a presentation on the whole process they went through to hack that. Yeah. So that's, I would say, one of the top level conferences that I follow. But
Mm.
the rest would be your interest. So I did do lots of forensics and threat intelligence. So I have lots of groups on Twitter that I do follow, but not to name specifics here.
And so, based on your experience with both government and corporate sectors, how does cybersecurity strategy differ between the two?
I would say there's a very wide difference between the two. The
Mm-hmm.
government aspect is more about safety of human life, though the corporate side also, especially oil and gas, also deals with lots of safety. But then with the government side, we take things to be, we don't, let me backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
So the government side, I was looking after the entire infrastructure of a country.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're looking at Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance, they deal with money and everything. So if the finance ministry gets hacked, for instance, right now, there is going to affect other departments.
Yeah.
So yes. And also, but then when it comes to the corporate side as well, what happens is that the corporate is, let me say, more lenient on dealing with vulnerabilities and other threats, actors, and all that. So I'll say there's a very wide gap. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And how do you see the threat landscape evolving with all the emerging technologies? Or how do you see it changing in the future?
Okay, so now with AI currently, people don't spend much time to do coding. Now you can just open ChatGPT or I mean any of these AI tools and just say that maybe you want to create this particular tool and it will actually help you create it. Then you can just test it. And it's also become very easy to automate some of these tools. So I would say that it has changed because sometimes previously you take lots of time to develop exploits and all that. But now just within 10 minutes, you can just come up with a simple tool. So I would say that so now previously 10 minutes, let's say 2 days or 6 hours. Now within 10 minutes, you have a tool to go
Mhm.
and test on people's infrastructure. So it has, I mean, it's really changed.
So would be your advice for students who are wanting to break into cybersecurity?
Yeah. So this topic is very dear to me because I attended my graduation and there were lots of students over there who were asking me, so how did I get a job? How did I get a job?
Mhm.
And I would say that so you can be the best at something, but then for me, I would say it took the grace of God for me to get a job. Let me put it that I'll just be blunt because you are not the only person applying for jobs, but you need to also position yourself in such a way that your CV will be very lucrative to
Mhm.
others. So one step I would say that one, find a mentor. Let someone mentor you. And the things that you learn in school is totally different from, I mean, when you come on board. So for instance, on your CV, you might mention lots of tools on it. But the job that you are applying for, they don't care about the tools you use in the
Yeah.
past or tools you use in the classroom. They want to know that. So with this tool, what did you achieve? How did you sort of use the tool to accomplish something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you're able to sort of merge that, I would say that would be a very sort of, good place to start branching into cyber. And also make sure you have an actual working experience. It could be an internship or it could be your home lab that you've built, something that you've done for it to be very easy for you to sort of enter into the cybersecurity space.
Mm. Are there any books or podcasts you would recommend? It might be career or non-career related, maybe some like
Okay.
motivational or inspirational books or podcasts.
It, okay, so this is not related to
Mm-hmm.
cybersecurity, but then there's this particular book, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's really helped me to sort of put my finances in place. And
Mm-hmm.
also another book that I also recommend, also in finance, is The Richest Man in Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it talks about a guy who took an opportunity to sort of invest in another company. Then later on, he saved a lot of money and he became the wealthiest man in where he was living. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to IT related one book, if you want to get into IT and really understand, for cybersecurity, I would say the Hacking Playbook.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So it's about the hacking player. So it's about putting yourself in the attacker's mindset to understand what some of the things that attackers are able to do and all that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Thank you for the advice. And there are a lot of students who are struggling with stress, whether due to academia or personal things. What's your
Yeah.
advice for students how to deal with stress?
Okay. So stress can come from different avenues, and everybody has their own, threshold. That they can sort of deal with some of this stress. So one thing I would recommend is to talk to someone. Don't just bottle everything up or be in your room and all. Every day. Have friends, hang out. Don't take life too seriously, especially academics.
Mm-hmm.
When I started applying for roles, I noticed that maybe in some for they may not apply, but then nobody asks for my transcripts.
Mm-hmm.
So if stress is coming because maybe you are not performing well in your academics and all that, just don't stress that aspect of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the advice. And the last question is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Wow. I wish I had started, instead of switching to business, I did a computer science related. Let's say I did computer science in
Mm-hmm.
university. Yeah. That would have sort of pushed me further ahead. And
Yeah.
also when Bitcoin came, I wish I bought something.